The obsidian throne room had been silent for 17 rotations. No council meetings, no proclamations, no breath of flame. Empress Thrix sat motionless upon her perch, her scales dimmed from their legendary gold to a sickly gray, her wings folded tight against her body like a broken prayer. Her son, the crown prince, had fallen to the void plague 3 weeks past, a disease no dragon should contract, yet had. The royal court kept their distance. The Vextil acknowledged her with bowed heads, but never approached. The synthesis collective sent formal condolences transmitted through 3 intermediaries. Even her closest advisors understood. This was a grief too vast, too ancient, too draconic for comfort. Dragon empresses were not meant to be comforted. They were meant to endure, to rule, to remain untouched by the petty sufferings of lesser beings. On the 18th rotation, Marcus Chin shuffled into the throne room, pushing his maintenance cart. The human was small, impossibly small by dragon standards, barely reaching Thrix's lowest claw. His species had joined the Galactic Compact only 15 years prior, and most established races still viewed them with a mild curiosity one might reserve for an interesting pest. The Empress's attendants had likely forgotten to schedule the janitorial rotation, or perhaps simply didn't care. One human more or less wouldn't matter. Marcus noticed her immediately. Where others saw the magnificent throne and the crystalline architecture, he saw the details. Dust accumulating in the corners, the faint scent of decay from flowers that had withered days ago, the way a few scales had shed and lay scattered across the floor like dropped jewels. He didn't bow. He didn't prostrate himself or avert his eyes in the respectful manner of other species. Instead, he quietly began sweeping, moving methodically around the throne room's perimeter. He emptied the ornamental urns, polished the viewing galleries, and straightened the ancient tapestries with practiced efficiency. His small movements were barely audible in the vast space. After 2 hours, Marcus approached the base of the dais. He carefully gathered the shed scales, each one nearly as large as his head, and placed them gently in his cart. As he worked, he noticed something else, a small stone, worn smooth, lying beneath the throne's edge. It was insignificant by any measure, yet he treated it with the same care he'd given the scales, preserving it carefully. When he finished, Marcus did something that made the watching court officials tense. He sat down, just sat, on his small maintenance cart, at the base of the Empress's throne, not kneeling, not groveling, not performing any ritual of subservience. Simply sitting, the way a person might sit beside someone they understood was having a bad day. The court held its breath. This was unprecedented. This was disrespectful. This was... My daughter was very small. Thrix spoke, her voice like grinding continents. She had not spoken in 18 rotations. She could fit in my talons when she was born. I would hold her in fear that I might accidentally crush her with my size. My mate told me I was being foolish, that dragons are hardy, that she would grow strong. She did grow strong. Marcus said nothing. He simply remained present, listening. The void plague did not care how strong she was. The Empress continued. I am Thrix, sovereign of the 7th sector, keeper of the ancient fire, ruler of... She paused, her massive head lowering slightly. And I cannot protect my child from something invisible and small. Marcus understood then. He thought of his own father, lost to a sudden aneurysm. How size and strength and accomplishment had meant nothing against random cruelty. How grief didn't care about status. The small things are often the strongest, Marcus said quietly. His voice was barely a whisper in the vast chamber, yet somehow it carried. My people are small. We're weak by your standards. But we survive. We keep going. We sit with each other when things hurt, because sometimes that's all we can do. Thrix's golden eye, still alive with intelligence despite the gray dulling of her scales, fixed upon the human. For the first time in 18 rotations, something shifted in her expression. Not acceptance, perhaps, but recognition. Understanding between 2 creatures whom everyone else believed had nothing in common. She extended one enormous talon toward the small stone Marcus had recovered. Marcus placed it gently in her scaled palm. The Empress held it as the sun set through the chamber's vast windows, casting long shadows across the obsidian throne. And though she didn't speak again that day, something fundamental had changed. The court, watching from the shadows, finally understood. Sometimes the greatest strength of species was the simple human capacity to sit with another's pain and refuse to look away.